I was standing at my father's graveside when I saw her again. For a moment, I thought grief was playing tricks on me. The rain fell in cold sheets across the cemetery, blurring faces and turning the world gray. Mourners were leaving one by one, hurrying toward their cars and warm homes. I stayed behind, unable to move, staring at the fresh mound of earth that held the last member of my family. Then I noticed a woman standing beneath an umbrella several yards away. She wasn't with the funeral guests. She wasn't speaking to anyone. She was simply watching me. When our eyes met, something strange happened. She smiled through tears. And then she said words I hadn't heard in 20 years. "You promised you'd marry me." My heart stopped. Because suddenly I wasn't 32 years old anymore. I was 10. And I knew exactly who she was. Her name was Emily Carter. The first time I met her, she was sitting alone on a swing at a community park in a small Ohio town. I had noticed her because she was crying. Most kids would have ignored it. Some probably did. But my mother had raised me differently. If someone looks lonely, she always said, sit beside them. Sometimes kindness matters more than answers. So I walked over and sat on the swing next to hers. For several minutes, neither of us spoke. Finally, I asked why she was crying. She wiped her eyes with her sleeve. "My mom is sick." I didn't know what to say. I was only 10. The biggest problem in my life was math homework. But I knew she looked sad. So I did the only thing I could think of. I handed her the chocolate bar I had been saving. She stared at it. Then she laughed. And somehow that laugh felt like sunshine after rain. From that day forward, we became inseparable. Every afternoon after school, we'd meet at the park. We shared snacks. Raced bicycles. Built imaginary kingdoms. And talked about our futures. One evening, while watching the sunset paint the sky orange and gold, Emily asked me a question. "Do you think we'll always be friends?" "Of course," I said. "Even when we're grown-ups." "Definitely." She smiled. "What if we get married someday?" I laughed. "Okay." "Really?" "Sure." She held out her pinky finger. "Promise." I hooked mine around hers. "I promise." At 10 years old, it felt like the simplest promise in the world. A week later, Emily disappeared. No goodbye. No explanation. One day she was there. The next day she wasn't. I learned from neighbors that her mother's illness had gotten worse. They moved away to live with relatives in another state. I waited for letters that never came. Months passed. Then years. Eventually life moved on. At least that's what I told myself. My mother died when I was 17. My father struggled after that. I worked jobs through college to help support us. Dreams were replaced by responsibilities. Relationships came and went. Nothing lasted. And somehow, without realizing it, I became the kind of adult who spent more time surviving than living. Then my father got sick. The doctors did everything they could. But cancer doesn't care about plans. Or hope. Or love. The funeral had taken place that morning. And now, standing in the rain beside his grave, I found myself face to face with the girl I had never forgotten. Emily looked different, of course. Older. Confident. Beautiful. But her eyes were exactly the same. Warm. Kind. Familiar. I stared at her. "Emily." She nodded. For a second neither of us moved. Then she stepped forward and wrapped her arms around me. And for the first time since my father's death, I cried. Really cried. The kind of crying that comes from years of carrying too much alone. She held me without saying a word. Sometimes kindness is knowing silence is enough. Afterward, we sat together at a small diner near the cemetery. The rain tapped softly against the windows. Coffee steamed between us. And 20 years of missing time slowly disappeared. I learned that her mother had died shortly after they moved away. Emily had spent years in foster care. Life hadn't been easy. She worked multiple jobs. Earned scholarships. built a career helping children in difficult situations. Now she ran a nonprofit organization supporting foster families across several states. "What about you?" she asked. I shrugged. "Nothing that impressive." She frowned. "Tell me." So I told her. About taking care of my father. About putting my own plans on hold. About working long hours. About feeling stuck. When I finished, she looked at me with disbelief. "Jake, you've spent years taking care of people. That's not exactly an accomplishment." "Yes, it is." I shook my head. "No. It's just what needed to be done." She smiled softly. "That's what makes it special." Nobody had ever said that before. Most people only noticed what I hadn't achieved. The promotions I missed. The opportunities one passed up. The life I postponed. Emily saw something different. And somehow that mattered. Over the next several months, she became part of my life again. At first we met for coffee. Then dinners. Then weekend road trips. It felt effortless. Natural. Like finding a missing piece you didn't realize was gone. But just as happiness started returning, life threw another surprise. One evening Emily showed up at my apartment looking shaken. She handed me an envelope. Inside were medical documents. My stomach tightened. "What is this?" She looked away. "I've been diagnosed with a heart condition." The room suddenly felt smaller. Colder. "What?" "The doctors think surgery can fix it." "Can?" She nodded. "They aren't completely sure." Fear hit me harder than I expected. Not because of the diagnosis. Because I realized how much she meant to me. The thought of losing her felt unbearable. For weeks I accompanied her to appointments. We spent long hours in waiting rooms. Longer hours pretending we weren't scared. Then came the night before surgery. We sat on a hospital rooftop garden overlooking city lights. Neither of us spoke much. Finally Emily laughed softly. "You know, I really came back to collect on that promise." I smiled. "The marriage one?" "Yes." "That's a very long time to wait." She looked at me. "Some things are worth waiting for." My chest tightened. I reached into my pocket. There was no ring. No speech. No plan. Just honesty. "Emily." "Yeah." "If everything goes well tomorrow." She smiled before I could finish. "Yes." Tears filled her eyes. And mine. The surgery lasted 7 hours. The longest 7 hours of my life. I sat in that hospital waiting room praying, bargaining, hoping. When the surgeon finally walked toward me, my heart nearly stopped. Then he smiled. The operation was successful. I broke down right there. Not from sadness. From relief. Weeks later, after Emily recovered, I took her back to the same park where we first met. The swings had been replaced. The trees were taller. Everything looked different. And yet somehow it felt exactly the same. The sunset painted the sky orange and gold. Just like before. I knelt on one knee. This time with a ring. 22 years ago, I made a promise. Emily was already crying. I remember. I thought I was just a little boy making a silly promise. My voice trembled. But maybe some promises aren't silly. She covered her mouth. Maybe some promises become part of who we are. I opened the ring box. "So, Emily Carter, will you finally let me keep my word?" She laughed and cried at the same time. "Yes." The answer came instantly. Certain. Beautiful. And when she kissed me, the years between childhood and adulthood seemed to disappear. A year later, we were married in that same park. Friends filled the seats. Children from her nonprofit scattered flower petals. The sunset arrived right on schedule. As if the world itself wanted to witness the moment. Looking around, I realized something important. The promise that changed our lives wasn't really about marriage. It began much earlier. The day a lonely little girl sat crying on a swing. And a little boy chose kindness. One chocolate bar. One conversation. One small act of humanity. That's all it took. Because the truth is that we rarely know which moments will shape our future. The smallest kindness can become someone's brightest memory. The simplest promise can survive decades. And sometimes, when life comes full circle, love finds its way back to the place where compassion first planted the seed. In a world that often feels rushed and divided, that may be the greatest reminder of all. Kindness never disappears. It travels through years, through heartbreak, through distance and loss. And when the time is right, it comes home.